Yeah, Patrick, you're still muted if you're trying to talk. Let's hey, while we're waiting on Patrick, Michael Levetsky, you want to say something? You're a candidate.
Hey, appreciate you guys letting me on. I had nothing to do with today's meeting, but appreciate joining as a visitor. Just looking forward to listening in, and really just appreciate everybody on the meeting getting together. So just thank you all.
Yeah, Mike, did you want to say anything about your campaign or anything? I mean, anything at all that you'd like to share right now?
Not to the extent that I already have. We will leave that to be continued.
Okay. Patrick, were you able to unmute?
Oh,
Did that come? Did that
there
work?
you are.
There you are, Patrick.
I'm in the middle of 285 doing about 5 miles an hour, so I don't have, I'm not going to be able to pretty much give any input. I'm just going to be listening.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, if there is a question and you feel like you need to, just if you can raise your hand, just be safe. That's the number one, especially right there on 285. So appreciate you joining. Thank you.
Yeah, the DOT is out there, Patrick. Keep it
And
safe.
trying to dodge all these trucks running around, you know, acting crazy in the rain. People can't drive as it is,
Oh,
much less when it's
gosh.
raining.
Copy that.
So, well, I just want to thank everybody. It's like I said, this has been, I think, an invaluable tool as we grow and we move forward. This will become a lot more professional. I know it started a couple of weeks ago with Amanda, Crystal, and myself. We had a lot of good outpouring in the last two I've done. I know I've had some good comments, questions, and Marilyn had a very successful communication earlier this week. I appreciate Amanda, and I just want to say this, guys. It's been a long year. We're all at the end, but I'll tell you this: we're all here together. And what we would like to see, the heart of this is always to make sure we have more people involved than we have in the past. So if somebody doesn't know who I am, I'm Michael Arrington. And how we want to do the format, I didn't really talk to Kevin. That's my fault. We're going to have the question. Michael, you're candidate. Patrick, if you're able to answer a question, if you're able to, guys, these questions are for all the candidates, not just three or four people, but everybody that is a candidate. So after I get through speaking, Kevin will absolutely run it. Kevin, what I'd like to do is about 7:30. We're going to have 15 minutes for like in statements. And if you'll watch that, I know you do a great job with the timer. We appreciate you when you do that. So again, I appreciate all the candidates joining here. Everybody looks fantastic. And Kev, I'll leave it to you. And we'll go ahead and start off with the questions. And here we go.
Yeah, so we got one. And first off, anybody that's on here, if you do want to raise your hand and actually ask your question, you absolutely can do that as well, right? So it doesn't have to be me reading them all because I'm a dumb truck driver. So I'll probably murder somebody's name and mess up the words and all that, but it is what it is, right? So we do have a question. And it says, for all of the candidates, what experience or skill from your personal or professional experience would you bring to the board? Okay. Now, don't all answer at once. I will just go down the list with Michael Arrington. Go ahead.
Yeah, before I answer, I want to piggy off what Kevin said. If you have a question, just ask it. This is what we want to do, right? This is what experience do I have bringing here? One, I own my own business right now in consulting, but for 20 plus years, I've been in contract negotiation. I've led sales teams, understanding the dynamics that it's not just one person that gets anything accomplished. It's actually a lot more and a lot more behind the scenes. I just do want to echo this. Kevin Anderson's done a shit ton of stuff behind the scenes that people don't know about. So that's one help. But yeah, just that experience, leading teams, understanding contracts, and understanding the value of good salesmanship is you've got two ears and one mouth. So let's increase the listening and let's delegate a little bit more. But yeah, I think I'm a strong leader, but it's one of those things that nothing can be done by myself. So
All right, so we're gonna go. We'll go next to Amanda because that's how it is on my list. Not that because she's my wife, but because she's next in the row here. And then also, if you're done talking, please please mute yourself so we don't get any backbeat, please. All right, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm Amanda Anderson. What I bring to the table is I have about 14 years of collections experience. I work for Toyota Financial Services, and that's actually what brought us down to Georgia. I think it's incredibly important that we lead and know how to handle crucial conversations. Coming with collections experience, I have plenty of that experience, from talking to customers to talking to dealerships and to talking to legal. I bring that skill set to the table, as well as I'm a very analytical thinker. I like to stay in the black and white. Anytime we get in the gray, that's where we run into some problems. And in my opinion, I don't like that. It's not comfortable. So I think with the corporate experience that I do have, I also am a mom. And so I definitely understand what it takes to multitask. I believe that I am fit to lead, from a sense that we can have mature conversations without being insulting, without being condescending. I do it every day. And so I'm excited for the opportunity. Like Michael said, it definitely takes a village. And in this position, we have lots of different skill sets. And I think we would make a great team, with the folks that we've been working with. And it's exciting. So I am looking forward to Saturday. And I can't wait to see what we have in store for our future.
All right, Marilyn, give me a
Okay.
shot.
Let's see. Can you guys hear me? Because I'm notorious with these buttons. All righty. Well, my turn now. Simply background: 15 years plus in retail banking, branch management, and everything that goes with it. Dealing with employees, reports, budgeting, financials, you name it. I've done it, so I'm very comfortable with responsibility, delegating, time management, and everything that comes to that event. Also very well versed in keeping classified information, sensitive information, from being distributed, and disclosing information that needs to be made available. Currently now, I am a substitute teacher. I'm a volunteer volleyball coach for the rec department, and I'm also a Zumba instructor. So these roles have even expanded more. The leadership skills that I've had to develop, conflict resolutions by working at those schools, never miss those, and just teamwork in general. So I feel, that I have plenty to offer in any capacity when it comes to the board. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Marilyn. And Patrick, I know you said you were listening. Do you have time to answer? If not a big deal. I don't want to put you in any jeopardy on the road. So if not, I'm going to go to Levesky next. But I always want to make sure I give you an opportunity, man. So don't let me leave you hanging. So Michael, if you're on, go ahead.
Just let me know, Patrick, if you want to jump in. So, Michael Levesky.
We have crickets from the Levesky.
I can barely hear you.
Oh, really? Do I have to scream? Is it not loud enough?
No, I'm from Levesky.
Oh.
Let me switch over.
Levesky, we can't hear you.
Hey, Christy, will you go next door and figure out what's wrong with this guy? Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do?
Any better now?
Oh, there you go, Michael. There's Michael.
Got it.
Okay.
Sorry. I switched over from my phone to the laptop, and the headphones must. So, Michael Levesky, facility manager for large retail company in the area. basically that's my experience managing small to medium teams, handling proposals, handling facility repairs, um, communication, developing processes. Ultimately, my goal here was just to bring improved communication, um, improved maintenance of our common spaces, um, fiscal oversight and transparency, um, and so on. Right. My goal coming into potentially even being a candidate or serving as an officer in some role was to make sure that the community members, our neighbors, had transparency, right? That anything we did, they could ask questions about. Anything they had concerns about, they could challenge us fairly and reasonably, right? Anything that we did was visible. Uh, uh, Anything that I did, even as a member, was also visible, right? If there was a conflict that somebody could bring up, and so that's where I come into this as managing small teams, facilities, understanding proposals similar to Michael, contract negotiation to some level, and growing it from there. So.
Awesome, man. Thank you. All right, so we do have another question that came through. That was all the candidates on, correct? Crystal is not on, right? I haven't seen her. So okay. So from Dennis, he said there are few roles on the board. Who is interested in what? And his assumption is not everyone is looking to be president. That would be very, very top heavy, Dennis. You are correct. So I think we go around the candidates again the way we did and just talk about what roles you're interested in or what positions you're looking to do. Just kind of give the neighborhood an idea of what we're looking at. So go ahead, Michael, since you're up there first on the list there, go ahead.
Yeah, I think coming into this, I think the role that fits me best is the president's role. I'm not a good note taker. Um, don't think I'm organized enough to be worth the financials. Um, and most of us have done this for a year. We've had meetings and we've had people work strong. So my goal would probably be that would be my goal would be the president, but I would serve in any capacity. It's again getting elected to the board as a director. One of those is let's expand the board to 5 voting members, and how we do that. And I absolutely know that Amanda, Michael, and Marilyn absolutely all are strong candidates for every role. So it's a great team on here. So yeah, that would be my ultimate if I had to choose. But serving the community is really the ultimate ask here.
All right, Amanda, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm happy to serve in whatever capacity, right? I think me personally, I would fit better as a secretary or treasurer. Coming from the financial industry, I do have strong skills when it comes to work in a spreadsheet. I could definitely take care of that. Or if I were to be elected as a secretary or get elected as a secretary, I can take some bad notes. So either way, even if it's a committee, I personally would enjoy also the ARC committee. Um, so that's really where I see fit, or I would be fit. I definitely don't want to be president by any means. But I definitely think I have a good skill set to fit into either the treasurer's shoes or the secretary's shoes.
Marilyn, you're up again. Hit that unmute button there, hon.
Will do. Got it. All right. So yeah, well, going just based on the experience that I have and what I've done before, I will feel extremely comfortable being a president. I have no problem. I have pretty tough skin. I like to go based on facts. I love to find out things. I will question. I want both sides of everything. And you really need to be able and be enough open-minded to want to always research both sides of everything that comes your way. I know that it's not necessarily the way most people like it, but when you're dealing in business, things need to be clear. So you need to find out everything that has to be involved. But obviously, we also have Mr. Michael. So if Michael were to be president, I have absolutely no problem holding on to any position that's available. At the end of the day, we're here to serve. So whatever capacity becomes my way, then I'm more than happy to serve there.
All right, great. Thank you, Marilyn. And again, this is open for Patrick. So if you do want to answer anything, just do a raise your hand or something. I know you're driving, man, and I get it. So I'm going to move to Levesque, but Patrick, feel free to interrupt if you want to answer any questions, please. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, and I'll reiterate the same comments before. I've been hesitant to choose a position, but I want to be able to fill. I want to be as well-rounded as I can,
Turn it around.
right? And that may mean that if there's nobody,
I'm going to set and see if I can get it up louder. I can't hear.
I think some. Can you hear me, Thomas? I think somebody's on here with Thomas, and I think you're unmuted. Just let me know. Well, sorry about that. Lost my train of thought. So ultimately, I want to be as well-rounded as I can. Board members drop, if things were to change,
You can only see them.
family concerns come up, and that board member has to leave. I want to
You
be
see
able.
sound on there?
Hey, Levesque, do me one favor. Hold on 1 second here.
Yep.
I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna make a change here quick. Hold on.
Yep.
Okay, Michael, go ahead and unmute yourself
it.
now. There you go.
Yep. Perfect.
You're good. Go ahead. Sorry, man.
So my feeling would be, uh, uh, helping, right? It can be in a assistant role, it can be in a secretary role, it can be in a treasurer role. I have enough financial background working with budgets in the facility side of things where I feel comfortable being able to review finances, but I have no problem being able to also help in the presidential side or even the secretary side. Like everything, I may have to learn. There may be some challenges, but I feel comfortable being able to stretch myself and move on that. One comment, and I think maybe this gets missed sometimes, is when we go to these meetings, when we finally have an annual meeting where there's an election, we're going to vote on board members. We're not going to be voting on a position. So those board members need to be available for anything, right? Ultimately, those board members will essentially elect themselves into an office or role at a later date. But we need to be ready to fill any role. There's no telling who can get elected, right? I mean, anybody on this meeting in any different combination can get elected, and it could be a surprise. And so we all have to be willing to sort of pick up the pieces and maybe dig a little deep and learn and say, okay, I may not know how to fill the president role, but I think I could be the president if this was the last choice. So just my comments there.
Awesome. Thanks, Levesque. So we do have a hand raised question, and Miss Christy Ruff, go ahead with your question, please.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, thank you. So just to clear up any confusion, I would ask all of the candidates to answer if any one of you candidates have been approached by anyone in the community, including myself, to run for any positions, or if anyone in the community, including myself, have prompted you to say or take any actions on someone else's behalf. Are you running because someone told you to run? Are you saying or doing anything because someone has instructed you to do so? Thank you.
Go ahead and follow the same cadence as we have before with the candidates. Just keep it simple. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I think my ultimate goal was the last annual meeting, and I left out of there with just not an answer, right? And it was the second annual meeting that came across. So I just decided, I said, I'm gonna make a change. And then I reached out. I've talked to several homeowners, and they have encouraged me to run for the board. And I echo what Michael said. It's not particular position, but we just want to serve the community, and it's a volunteer position. Um, it's time for new leadership, and more than just a few people have reached out to me personally, and they've backed us. And how do we know that? We got several proxies at our last special meeting, and we've really worked hard. I mean, um, most of the people that I know, Amanda, Michael, Crystal, Marilyn's come on a little late, but it's still the heart's there. It doesn't matter what time we get here. Marilyn's stepping up to be a volunteer for our community. It's an honored position because we take it serious, and we wouldn't be doing this. So to answer the question, yeah, a lot of people have encouraged me, trusted me with their proxy, and I feel like a lot of people trust me after I talk to them. So and I've also met some great friends through this. So ultimately, there's not even a lose in this situation just because of the people I've met, and it's gotten me out in the neighborhood. And one thing we lack today is the more we're connected through virtual and phones, the least we're connected in person. So um, it's been exciting. It's been fun. I'm ready for it to be over. But yeah, I've been asked by several people to run for the board. Yes.
Go ahead, Amanda.
All right, thank you. So to answer Christy's question in short, um, nobody's making me run for the board, right? Like I'm genuinely running because I want to. Now, in regards to have I been motivated and encouraged by my neighbors? Absolutely. But no, I'm not required to run. I'm genuinely wanting to. From the aspect of, like Michael said, is that I'm ready to see some change. I think we have so much more potential, and I want to be a part of the solution, and not a part of the problem. So there's my answer.
All right, thank you. Marilyn?
Yes. Well, actually, for me, it was a little bit backwards. I was just hearing, and listening to everybody talking. I saw it went down on the last meeting, and I was like, you know what? I should probably step up and try to, get involved in this and make a change, because if I complain, but I don't step up, then nothing's ever going to change. And I went to my neighbors and said, hey, do you think I might have something, that's worth bringing into the board to, offer the community? And they were like, Marilyn, absolutely. I was like, okay, then I'm going to do this. And I went ahead and did it. But no one came to me. I actually saw what was going on. I was listening to, everything that was going around in the neighborhood. And I decided, I think it's time to, stop yapping and step up and see if you can actually bring in a change. And that's how I ended up here. That's probably why I'm the last one to join.
Awesome. Thanks, Marilyn.
No problem.
Michael, go ahead. Again, Patrick, if you need to get in, let me know.
Tough acts to follow, being the last one, right?
I can make you first on the next one if you want, Michael. It'll make you feel better, buddy. Go ahead.
Same here. Yeah. No, no forced in this. I got involved, probably over a year ago now, just with as a prior board member, serving on the board for a few months, seeing concerns, bringing up concerns, and over time you learn a lot, and you say, I want to be able to help. And I think, to echo some of the comments here, is a lot of good things were done, some concerning things were done over time, and I think we can all stand back and say, somebody else will take care of it, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. But all of us together with a vision, right? Maybe different visions moving together, we can help develop our community. We can think of, come together with ideas to keep our property values up, to keep our our common areas maintained, and just give some different viewpoints than we've had. Sometimes change can be bad. The retail organization I come from changes daily. Unfortunately, in some ways in bad, some ways in good. But there's a way to manage change and make sure it's for the better of everybody. And we listen to people and we ask questions. Um, we're going through performance review season at this time of year, and so I have to give bad news to some guys, but I also at the same time never, I always want to hear from people and say, okay, yeah, things may have been bad, but how can we improve? How can I improve? How can I communicate better with you? And I hope that we all can bring that together going forward. That it's not one way, one direction, one path for everything. That we can come together as a community. So hopefully we don't lose power here with all the rain coming in. But that's my 2 cents.
All right, guys. So we got a couple of questions that came in since I sparked it. We're going to start with Michelle's. So this, I'm guessing that this is towards the group. So we'll go through quickly and answer. So if elected, what would be your first step towards change? That was Michelle. I'm going to say Davis. I can't go by that last name. So it's Michelle Davis to me. So go ahead, Michael, follow the same.
Yeah, I think for one thing is what we're doing tonight. I was on the board back in January. I wanted the website. But the first thing, Michelle, is going to be the audit. That's going to be the very first thing I want to see happen. But we are already working on a webpage. This live event we're doing right now off of Facebook Live is the first steps to include everybody. I guess to wrap it all up is more neighborhood involvement, which includes transparency. And once we can see everything in the audit where the money goes, more questions can be answered. And this will be the norm, guys. Hopefully for our HOA meetings, these live events like this will be the norm where you don't have to leave your home. We'll offer a poll. We vote on the poll. It'll go up for 10 days. If you're out like Patrick driving on 285, you can't make the meeting. You can go back and watch it. It'll be recorded. And then you can make a very smart decision or your own decision on the way you should vote on the poll. So the audit and to increase more community involvement.
All right, Amanda, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I can break that down into short-term goals and long-term goals. Short-term goals would be increasing and improving our communication. We have to become over communicators, especially with all the different movements that's happened recently. I think we need to do that by bringing back Crystal's newsletters. I thought those were fantastic. I think, like Michael said, getting on our webpage will definitely help. Snail mail, yes, as it is out, people still do enjoy that. I also think it's important that we look at maybe doing text campaigns. Long-term goals, I would like to see not only the audit, I would like to do the budget, and I would like to take a deeper look at our bylaws and covenants and make sure those are getting updated and refreshed with the world that we live in today.
All right, go ahead, Marilyn.
I second Amanda's motion.
Beautiful.
I literally agree with everything you just said, Amanda. I would start with the same thing. I first will go straight into the communication, because what's the point of me knowing things if I can't make them get out there? So I want to make sure that we find ways to include everyone, because this is fabulous. I'm not going to lie. I'm not too good at it, but it's fabulous. But I also understand that there's a lot of our neighbors that are not necessarily comfortable with this type of technology. So like you mentioned, we need to still have, the good old snail mail, maybe figure out a way of having, our newsletter instead of monthly on the computer, maybe quarterly printed out. Like back in the day, you used to go to your mailbox and find it there so that everybody can have access to that information. And then once that's all settled in, absolutely deep dive, but I mean deep dive into the financials, making sure everything's where it needs to be, allocations are correct. And then once you know what you're accounted for, then you can move on and start planning. Okay, so now what can we do? Because you can't have a plan unless you know what you're working with. So we need to figure out first where our standing is, and then still work on everything else.
Right.
Mhm.
All right, Michael, go ahead. Levesky.
Yeah, a lot of things. So I know I'll probably echo a lot of the same comments. My biggest thing that I know I've commented on was transparency, a board review of all documents right off the bat, potentially an open house right off the bat where people can come physically touch the documents, physically look at what we have, open to the public in an open setting, and immediately public, right? I imagine there is limitations within certain legal things that shouldn't maybe be shared for business reasons, but to clear the air of any concerns people have had right off the bat, what do we have? How is our business being run? How has it been run? What documents do we have that we can publicly put on a portal, website on Tally, our own website, behind password protected, of course, and start from there, right? Start building the trust with the new board to say, look, here, you have the same information we do. Here's where we want to go forward, right? Developing transparency, making sure that what's already been spent this year on a potential approved budget, we can continue on, right? We know where the money's going, and just continue that transparency, right? You're probably going to hear that, my comments on that a lot is how can we give everybody that's investing so that they feel forward, and then how can we set up a structure to make sure that continues, right? The reality is everybody on this meeting should only be elected for 1 year, and then there'll be another meeting, right? People will change. So how for that continue, not just today. Transparency, right? Oversight committees, right? People that may not want to be necessarily involved, but they want to give input, right? How can we involve as many people as possible so there's transparency, there's accountability, and go from there.
So Levesky, if you can hear me, you were kind of cutting out a little bit. I think we're getting some internet interference, but I think we got the gist of it. I saw Marilyn say she couldn't. I'm gonna move it along here. I don't mean to cut you off, sir. I apologize, because it looks like Luby's question and Michelle's kind of rolled in together. So we're gonna move on to Heather. For the candidates that have previously served on the board, what is different going forward that the community can trust that when the going gets hard, you will not withdraw off the board and stand strong with the community? So this is, I believe, a two-part question with you guys from Arrington and Levesky being on here.
Yeah, Heather, I'll tell you, I stepped off the board when the community voted us off in the special meeting. We had 101 votes that said where our leadership was not what they wanted. And just so you know, I helped write that petition to remove everybody on the board. I just think the entire board needed to be clean slate. And it wasn't a fact. I don't think anything got too tough where you couldn't handle it. It's just I disagree with the way the board was heading. Our job when you're on the board is to be a example of what the neighborhood should be, and to listen to the neighborhood. And if the neighborhood says, "Hey, we want new leadership, let's vote," then I listen to that. And also, I think we just take a stand for our neighbors. I really believe that when you guys asked me, I took a stand with you. I got out into the community and started listening. I've met more people through this than I ever would have. So I don't think there's anything that we are ever going to face that we will not be able to face together. And if you learn to delegate and you delegate it out properly, then I don't see anything too tough for all of us to handle together. And like I said, I foresee having 5 directors, and divvying out the responsibilities to the exact person who does that. So yeah, once you're in, you're in. And but I do appreciate the question.
All right, Michael, before you go, I did add more time to the clock here because we're into a good conversation. There's been a few questions that come through that I think we need to get answered, so we might run a little long. We did start a little later, so I apologize for that, but I'm
Well,
going to make sure that everything happens.
Yeah, we scheduled it for 7:45, so it just
That's fine. Just letting
okay.
you guys know.
Yeah. That's so we're as long as we stick to that, the agenda will be met. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I answered it. Go ahead, Amanda.
Well, I think this was actually a question would go to Levesky because it was previous board carriers. So,
I'm
Levesky.
sorry. I completely.
You're good.
Sorry, the
I've
cadence got
I've been
you.
working with you so long. I just think you already are one. So
Go ahead, Michael.
Going down the list. Just butt in if I cut out for. So yeah, decision, right? Because it's tough as a prior board member. You say, well, they've resigned, right? What's to say they're not going to leave us at isolated within their decisions, right? Everybody had a role, and that was their role, and you weren't going to change what I did, right? This is how I feel it's best, and this is the well. I was also an at-large board member at that time, helping out with the ARC. I brought up many concerns, which, to Patrick's credit, who's on the meeting, some of them were heated. But I also created a bit of challenge on the board, as you know, bringing up violation. And so knowing that we couldn't move forward in my family issues, ultimately, that's why I decided to step down. Obviously, the family concerns were improved. Moving forward, and I won't take too much time up. Moving forward, I have learned a lot over the last year. And we have learned, and I have learned personally, how it can be impactful to me and how it can be impactful to our community if I stand back and say, let them handle it because I don't have a voice anyway. Sometimes even the voice that nobody's listening to matters, right? People are hearing it. They may not agree. There may not be a consensus. My vote may be outruled, but it's on paper, right? And I'm speaking for somebody typically. So going forward, our vote as people matter, and I can commit to staying on the board and making sure that we move forward and get transparency, and we communicate better.
Kev, before we move on, I just remembered I was also texted Erica Yarnell and both while we both received a text that we were asked to step down. So it was not just listening to you guys. We were asked to step down, and I believe the reason why is I wanted change. But that's like, oh, I know why. Is because I started meeting with other families and understanding that what the neighborhood was, and I was told that I was a double agent, and they couldn't trust me on the board because I was just sitting in people's homes listening to their concerns. And so I just remember that. I don't know why it took me that long, but I just wanted to add that.
All right. Thank you, Michael and Michael. Okay, so Gary Beard, you asked a question which was very similar to the one that everyone answered. I'll go ahead. It looks like for any and all of those that have been on the board before, or for whatever reason bailed out, why should we trust you all again? So there is a different part to that question, right? So why should we trust the Michaels? I guess you guys are cornerstoned on this one, and I apologize for that. Crystal's not on here to make it a three-way. So why should we trust you?
Yeah, it's a great question, Gary. It's just like I answered just then. I think that I did show a large amount of trust with the neighborhood when we had the special meeting and 101 people asked for the board to step down. And if you were at that meeting, I think people remember this, that I actually said the neighborhood has spoken. Will the board step down? And I said, I will absolutely step down right now. Erica joined me that. And later on, as we see, the board is now just one person, that's Patrick. And we've had trouble filling those positions. But to gain the trust, it comes with many things. I mean, when you guys ask me to do something, I'll do my best. I try to weigh both sides as well as Maryland. And, again, I think I'm going to echo what Michael said really strongly. That when your voice isn't heard and it's always a contradiction. And once again, guys, I don't want to spend 8 hours on a Wednesday at an HOA meeting, and that's constant. So, again, Gary, I'm just going to have to ask you to trust me. And if you can see the connection that us four have right now, we've been working together behind the scenes already, and a lot of our ideas are the same. The way we approach them may be different, but over the last year, we've held meetings and we've set up meetings ourselves, and we've done a lot of things in the neighborhood already for the absence of a board. So I will just say, hey, I ask you for your trust, but those are the reasons I stepped down, Gary, was one, you guys asked us to, and two, I was texted that I needed to, and that's okay. I absolutely would ask the same question. So I hope that answers it. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Levesky, do you got something on that?
Yeah, I think I'll take it in a little bit of a different way. We have had a challenging at least 1 year, right? Um, I don't think you should necessarily just blindly trust people. I think your trust should be earned. We should earn your trust, right? Um, and I think that should be shown by our day one actions, right? Are we being transparent? Are we showing? Are we showing up, right? And then I think, frankly, we should be called out if we're not doing the things that we say we're doing. Um, there's nothing wrong with homeowners coming up to the board and saying, "Hey, you guys said you were going to do this, and you're not doing this. You're not being transparent. Starting, the communication. You're not starting the newsletters." And so we should be able to earn that, right, as homeowners, and build that respect back. There's a lot of water under the bridge here, and I think people will be suspicious of anybody that comes on here initially, and so we should earn that. Um, I mentioned before one of the reasons for me dropping out was personal, and overlapping with me needing to go to New York and visit, and I didn't think I could do that. But at the time, I felt that I was splitting so much from the viewpoint of the people on the board, that I could do more good outside, bringing this forward. And if I'm making items public that people don't want to be public, and then I'm meeting with these people who are likely to just vote me off anyway. um, I think I did more good outside of the board than a board stacked against me, right? At three to one. Um, I don't think I would have been at the time. I would have been challenged to. I would have been challenged not to share public details or speak to people about concerns that I felt that was going on in the board, um, and pulled in both directions. And I didn't want that to happen. And I think that played a factor when I left. And so, kind of see the thought process there, where I trying to ditch people. It was more of, there's some challenges here that I think are going on. Let me present you with the facts, and you guys make the decision.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. So, not to jump around on the questioning here, but I did see one that kind of correlates with this. So, Patrick, if there is anything that you want to say about this, because I know currently you are the board, but since it's looking towards a new board, this would be an opportunity for you to give your 2 cents and sell yourself to the 21 people that we have on this. So if you're able to answer, I think people would really like to hear what you have to say. And I know you're driving, and if it's not safe and the rain is kind of crappy, but we have had a couple people in the chat ask that this apply to you as well. So I'll give you a second if you're able to click on and answer. And if not, we're going to continue to move on because we do have questions. Eric, I do see your hand raised as well, and I'll get to you here in just a second, okay? So Patrick, I'll give you a couple of minutes if you need to get on, or a couple of seconds if you need to get on here, please. Fair enough. I think that was fair. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Michael, thank you for that. So let's see. Karen Davenport, how do we prevent this situation we're in now from repeating itself? If a board member has to step down, how are they replaced so that we are not left with one man on the board again? And because I'm tired of listening to the Michaels, I'm going to start with Amanda on this. What is your thought, Amanda?
We need to do what our bylaws tell us to do, right? We need to call a special meeting and fill the positions. Why that hasn't been done, I'm not sure, but going forward, that would be what the new board would have to do.
So, and not to speed through that question, but I think that kind of covers it. Is everybody in agreement there? If we just kind of move on?
Yes, sir.
Karen, hopefully that answered your question, because I think it should be as cut and as dry as that. Okay. So thank you for your question, Karen. That was great. Let's see, where are we at? Christy Ruff, permanent board elections or binding votes should not take place at special meetings unless they are clearly stated in advance. Come on, Christy. Major decisions deserve full transparency and participation. What can the board do to improve mass communication? And I'm just giving you crap because I had to read a lot. So go ahead. I'm going to start with Marilyn on this one, if that's okay. And then Erica, I'm going to grab your hand raised. So just hold tight, hon, for me, okay? All right.
So what can the board do to improve mass communication? Well,
I believe that's the gist of her question. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, keeping in consideration the fact that, like I said, not everybody is involved here. If we have to go out for these major decisions to be done, we have to go out and hit the pound, aside from not only electronic mailings, flyers, whatever it takes, then we have to go out there and make it happen. Sometimes, we only think of what is accessible to us, but when we are here to serve, we have to think about what's accessible to everyone that's around us. And sometimes that just means good old fashioned pounding the ground. These tools are fabulous. Like I mentioned before, I'm super excited to get to know them a little bit better. But I still love, to get my letters in the mailbox and have something that I can hold on and put on my fridge so I don't forget. So there's a lot of ways, that we can continue trying to push the information out, and make sure that everybody knows what's about to happen and what are the consequences of decisions that can be made if they don't stand up and put their input. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you. So Amanda, if you want to go ahead and take that, and then we'll go back to Michael's.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want a reminder. The question was, how are we going to increase transparency, right? Just want to make sure I'm remembering that correctly. What is the question?
What can we do to improve the board's mass communication? I believe it was that Christy Ruff question.
It's a great question, right? I think we need to not only go virtual like we are, we need to do the snail mail. Like Marilyn, I enjoy that piece of paper. I still write checks for some of my bills, so I'm very old fashioned when it comes to that. And I also think we need to change how we are leveraging our social media. I think that is not used to its full capacity. And I think we need to definitely look at that. I think another opportunity would be a chat option. Like if we're exploring the web page, I don't know if this is something that's feasible, but I think it would be really cool to integrate some sort of AI when it comes to our bylaws. Like if I want to self-serve, if I have a question, can I type it in and get my answer? That is ultimately where I see it going, or what I would like to see it going. That's probably more long term. Short term, it's going to be more fixing, or I don't want to say fixing, but enhancing the way we use our social media. The newsletter, mailers. I would like to explore using our phones as text reminders, text updates as to what's going on in the neighborhood. I mean, I get emails and coupons text, or I'm sorry, I get coupons text to me. Why can't I get updates at our HOA? So that's just some of my ideas. I think we can definitely make improvements in that aspect.
All right, thank you. Levesky, hammer away.
Ah, threw me out of order.
I know. Keep you on your toes, brother.
Yeah, you're probably going to hear a lot of repeats on this one. Kind of an all of the above approach. Marilyn had it pretty good. We need to meet people where they're at, right? And maybe taking surveys and say, hey, how do you are you good with technology and whatnot? I've always been a proponent of especially for the people that aren't great with tech, having some sort of a bulletin board at the pool, in tandem with, digital newsletters. I think digital and physical need to go together. You'd be surprised. I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't great with tech, and that's fine. But bulletin boards, newsletters, emails, utilizing more of the digital, and really trying to move away from the Facebook side of things, as any form of mass communication. I don't know if that even falls into the qualifies as a legal path, because not everybody's really on there, especially if we're sending out meetings. Facebook more so along the lines for events, and really trying to keep the politics off of there as much as you can, right? Here's what's coming up. Here's updates, and really just transforming that. So digital, newsletters, emails, and the physical aspect maybe at the board. Here's where you can see updates. Somebody has to be responsible for the physical. It takes a little bit more work. You need printers, right? Somebody needs to erect a bulletin board that's not locked up in the winter. So there's a little bit of a challenge there, but I think it's something that can be worked out pretty early on.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, so let's just be completely transparent here. 2 years or last year, the annual, I asked what the official form of communication was. If it's Facebook, I'm not on it. I just got on Facebook this year because I didn't even know when the meetings were. So taking this action, guys, working this year, I've already met with Dennis and Cal Parr. We've got a web page already designed. It's going to be the first step. Really, we're going to, all of our mass communications will be through the website. I think the one thing we talked about, Michael hit it right on the head. There will be something at the pool where we can have an event letter printed up, and post it at the pool. Take one, something like that. Also, what's a better way than to go around and pass out newsletters? We can put them in the mailbox. Because what we can do is we can find those people that are not tech savvy, and we can make sure that the mailing is exactly for those people. So I think a web page is a must. we'll have, well, our goal is we'll have a search bar where you can see the bylaws. And they will be put in the legal form, and it'll also be in a layman's terms, because I know most people don't like reading the bylaws because they're wordy and this and thou. It's like reading the King James Version. Nobody speaks like that. So there will be a huge event calendar. And my dream and my goal was to have all the events planned out in the first HOA meeting of the month, the first one of the year, outside of the annual. So people that have kids can plan at these events, and you can be at the Easter egg hunt, you can be at the 4th of July celebration, and all these are already in plan. But what we need in order for it to be really successful is we need to, everybody on this call, get out and meet 2 people we haven't met in the neighborhood yet, and tell them the vision that we have for communication. Because the only way to correct this ship is to have mass communication, mass transparency, and get more people involved in the HOA through committees, what have it. So I think the webpage is not, and we can still use Facebook as for events and stuff, guys, but our communication and questions should be done on the communication on the webpage for events. Questions and answers should all be done at HOA meetings or the annual, where it is recorded and official and you're giving your time. So you guys are already seeing this in action by joining tonight. This is very effective. We have more people involved, so thank you for joining. But we've already been working on this for a year. So go ahead, Kev.
All right, Michael, thank you. And Erica, you're coming right next, I swear. I just want to take a second because there's a good amount of comments in here. I'm not going to go through and read all of the comments. Everyone on this thing should be able to read. But one thing I do want to point out is I want to welcome Gary Beard to the neighborhood. They said they're pretty well new to the community. So I just wanted to say that. Gary, welcome. Appreciate your participation today. So Erica, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. And thank you for being patient.
Hey, it's no problem. Thank you so much for having me. My question is for the entire board. So we have multiple committees in place. Some of them are very successful, some of them not so much. So is the view to completely overhaul all of the existing committees, or are you going to allow some of us to remain and at least allow us to continue doing our jobs during the transition before we get booted out? What's the view and your opinions, your goals? What are you seeing? Because you're speaking a lot of things about committees and more involvement and more participation and more this and more that. And some things are working great and need more of that. And some things, or I'm saying this opposite. Some things are not working great and definitely need more of this. And we need more committees to do more things, or to, an audit committee, to a bylaws committee, various things of that nature. People who are great at writing, like the ARC guidelines, need an overhaul. I'm happy to help participate with that, but am I great at writing? Absolutely not. I'm medical. I think logical. Very good at suggestions. Can I write? Yes. Do I have to sometimes? Yes. Is that my passion? No. So if it's somebody else's passion to help me take all of these grand things that we found out over the years doing ARC and convert them into making our guidelines better, and making it where it's, when you pull up that document, you can absolutely see without having to email Erica Yarnell or Patrick Ray or Amanda Arrington or Michael Arrington, Amanda Anderson. I'm so sorry. I'm getting my names all twisted. Anyway, I'm talking. No, I see you guys laughing, so no harm foul. Vesky, I didn't forget you either. And Marilyn. But anyway, you shouldn't have to email one of us to clarify, exactly blah 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 blah. Is the paperwork says this, but I'm being told this. There's a lot of updates that need to be made to that particular document. So I'm just speaking on mostly on behalf of the ARC, but also on behalf of other committees, because there are other committees that are working very well right now, doing their job, getting things done, despite all of the politics. And we just want to help make sure everything keeps running smoothly before, so that there's not too much change at one time. So thoughts, views, opinions. Do you want us to offer a term limit? So, okay, give us till this point and then you can reapply for your position, however you want to do it. I just want to know what your opinions are. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you, Erica. Since Michael went the last time, we're going to throw it around. We're going to get Marilyn a little time in here on that. You want to go ahead and tackle that, Marilyn?
Yes, my pleasure. Well, Erica, to be honest with you, I love the whole committee idea. And I have even thought so far as going to micro committees, which will be small committees that will just concentrate on one issue and one issue alone. So when it comes, for example, to the ARC documents, like you mentioned earlier, you guys can still continue doing your job while we can get someone that might be really good at writing to go over these documents, and their sole purpose would be to go through there and bring clarity and unison to whatever the rules are that you're working with. If it comes out, for example, to a social committee, which is the other one that, that I hear a lot, then yes, let's have a group of people, because if the group gets too big, it kind of gets out of control. So you have a main group of focus to sit there and plan ahead. And then you have the rest of the committee to put hands in, and then get the job done. So that's how I would see everything. It doesn't need to be, 300 different committees running at the same time. But every time that there's something that's very time consuming and maybe specialized, and have a micro committee just to focus on that one item while everybody still continues doing, the general labor that they're developing and dedicating themselves with. I don't see the need to remove anyone from a committee if it's working. The only things that you should actually go and try to change are things that are not up to par. But if everything's getting done within that committee the way that it should, then I don't see any reason as to why eliminate them or change anything to it.
All right.
Those will be my 2 cents there.
Awesome. Thank you, Marilyn.
You're welcome.
Amanda, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I'm a big one when it comes to why would we fix what's not broken? But I also believe new folks would bring fresh perspectives, fresh ideas. And I think we struggle with participation. So are we getting the people to make these committees happen and run? I don't know. I think when it comes to what's currently in place and the future, I think it's going to take a collaboration, right? I think let's keep going with what we're going, and let's just see where there's opportunities. I think we need to expand on our committees. I think we need a bylaw committee. Obviously, we're going to keep our social committee. I think we need to look at our ARC committee. I absolutely agree when it comes to the documentation. Erica, I helped Mr. Henry get his shed, and that was a complete nightmare. And it shouldn't be. Right, where it's overly complicated for no reason. And that goes back to the bylaw committee. So it all goes together, really. And so I think it's a matter of, I love Marilyn's micro committee idea. I think that's fantastic. We have to have the participants to make that happen. So that's going to go to increasing transparency, increasing awareness. Like we talked about the idea of having a caring committee. We would need to know in the neighborhood who would need that caring committee so that we can give them meals for a week or send them a card or what have you. But that's just kind of my take on it. I definitely don't think we need to fix what's not broken. We could definitely just enhance it and look at it and improve it.
Awesome. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Arrington.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think everything needs to be looked at. it's like the question that how are you gonna be able to keep dues down? I can't answer that because I don't know the financials, and we have to only trust what you say, Erica. I have never heard a complaint about the ERC or the ARC, but that's not my forte. If anybody has listened to me over the last year, I've talked about adding lots of committees, the bylaws for sure, but guys, to answer that question, we have to go back to the simple fact that we need more communication, we need more transparency, and through that, we're going to bring more people into the HOA and get them involved. The reason people don't get involved, or they because they're afraid because they don't know what they can offer. I hadn't thought about the micro committee. I love the idea of that because there are certain things that people care about one thing. So we get back to having transparent communication. There can never be enough communication. And when you have an idea, people listen. And so the more we communicate, the more committees we'll have, and the more people will be involved. And that's really what it comes down to. I don't foresee when when the new board comes on, Eric, I don't foresee anybody saying we're slashing all the committees. I don't even think anybody's even thought about it. I think our biggest focus has just been the transparency of the financial situation and getting more communication involved with the neighborhood. And that goes back to all the things we're doing now. And we have really 4 strong people. Crystal is too. I wish Crystal was here. She has great ideas. But we have all worked together. And you know what? It doesn't make, we're not special. We just stepped up and we got involved. And that's what we want everybody to do. But Marilyn makes a great point. Somebody may just want to do one thing. And that's fantastic because we have 272 lots and we have close to 200 homeowners. We have 200 homes that have great ideas that not everybody else has. So, yeah, getting back to communication, transparency, that'll keep the committees. So I don't see any chance in slashing committees at all. I hadn't even thought about it. So, but great question.
All right, Arrington. In the interest of time, Michael, it's 7:44 for Levesque. Okay, so go ahead and I want to make sure we get the opportunity to get the other questions asked at least. So there is a few more in here. So Michael, go ahead and answer Erica's question, and then we're going to kind of speed round this guy. Okay.
Yeah, we got time, and we're not going to be cut off.
Okay. No, I took care of that. We're good on the time. So,
okay.
Yeah, we can go over.
Echo the exact same thing, right? Don't necessarily destroy it. We're not here. I mean, at least I speak for myself, right? Not here to destroy things that are working correctly, right? To use the term that I don't always love, but I'll use it here. Let's audit it, right? Let's audit our processes. Let's audit our committees, right? Are we following the bylaws? But if people are doing the right thing and there's already a decent structure in place and there's communication between the board members and the committees, absolutely, let's keep that going forward. Communicating, changes that occur at meetings and so on and stuff like that. As long as we have processes in place, let's continue forward. Let's ask people in the community who want to be involved, create additional committees, but don't destroy things for the sake of destroying it. Let's build off of what we have. And to give credit to Patrick, listening, not everything's terrible, right? He didn't do a terrible job. There's concerns out there, some heavy concerns, but there are committees running, right? There are processes being followed. Let's audit them. Let's improve them. Let's talk to the community members. Let's see if we can get more members in and add committees where there's interest. So, yep.
Awesome, man. Thank you for that. So just kind of looking through the questions and comments here, just to touch on a few things, right? So Christy has added a comment in here, and this is back about the board members who served previously. It looks like, and it's a good point, I think, these guys who were on the board before and did step down, it was to make room, make an opportunity for people to vote for new leaders, right? So that was kind of a touching point. I do see that perspective as well, and I think people also share that. Let's see, what else do we got here? It looks like we have a question about, are we going to continue to have the pool area filmed? It feels a little invasive. Now, it's a good question, and I know that's probably a question for the candidates, but I can say from a safety standpoint, that's what that is, right? Is instances if something were to happen at the pool, we're able to have that on film, whether it be something breaking the law or somebody getting injured, lawsuits and liabilities, I believe. And I don't mean to step in and answer that question, but that's my take on that. I don't look at it as weird, I guess, for lack of a better term, right? So candidates, if you guys want to dig in on that, you can. Feel free to talk on that. But I feel that that's probably the big reason why there's cameras at the pool.
I'll jump in. I've had several different people ask me my opinion on this, and I'm in favor of a live feed, to be honest, at the pool. Maybe we make the camera a little higher where it's not as, you can't zoom in or something. I don't know. That brings into question people being vetted. I do know that we need a camera at the pool. To make sure that we have, if there's damage or things like that. I don't think one person should be in charge of only seeing the feed. Maybe we hire out a security firm or something. I don't know, but this calls into question how much is that going to cost? So there's a lot of different angles when it comes to that. Should we have more than one camera? I don't know. I don't know if it's tricky. I just think it takes more time than 5 minutes to discuss. And the number one thing is, I think the entire neighborhood needs to be on board, whatever decision we make. I think this is an absolute issue that needs to be voted on. And where would we do the live feed is through the webpage. But I do understand the concerns about that. So do we vet people? And yeah, I don't know. I think it's a deeper question. I don't know if there is a right or wrong answer to this, but we do have to have cameras. I believe that 100%. But how do we keep it monitoring to keep it safe? I don't know that. I think we just need to talk about it.
Right.
That's my opinion.
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So, and if I'm saying this wrong, I'm sorry. So the Sealer May House, the question, she was the one that asked, or they were the ones that asked that question. Sorry. And then, about understand that you support surveillance, right? And I guess that's what I was getting at with my comments, right? And my impression of that. So I definitely appreciate you bringing up that question. Is there anybody else, any candidate that wanted to speak on that? Just in the interest of time, I'm just kind of moving through stuff. Yeah, absolutely, Marilyn, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go nice and quickly. I definitely also believe.
Get in here as well, so he did jump on or lit up.
Okay, I'll let him talk since he hasn't had a chance.
If you want to, Patrick, go ahead, or if you can right now. Sorry, I saw you light up.
What I will say about the cameras at the pool, and this is, and the other board members who were on the board, there's only one access to the camera system at the pool, and that is at the pool in the pump room. All the feed is in there, the recorder is in there, everything is in there. Whenever we have an incident in the pool to where a kid poops in the pool, then of course we have to go back to find out who done it and to see who to charge the fine to for the cleaning and all that. When that occurs, all board members come to the pool room and we go through the video together to be able to determine who gets the fine or whatever. And any board member who was on here when we had the issue 2 years ago on Memorial Day, they can all attest to that because there was like 6 of us in the room. We had the pool committee members and the board in the room to do that. And that is the only feed for that camera, which that is why it is there for security.
All right. Thank you, Patrick, for that. Marilyn, if you'd like to go ahead.
Sure, thank you. I was just gonna say that, yes, I am all for having that camera there. Not only for accidents, but even if there were to be, personal conflicts, sometimes the kids, roughhousing, anybody destroying, the pools that, all the good chairs and, and everything that we have there, we want to be able to see. But I also feel that there should be a time limit for whatever these recordings that we're doing have, so if every week, goes by and nothing's happening, destroy the feed. No need to be able to access any of that, just have it there for a certain amount of time. And once nothing happens, then, let it delete like back in the day and re-record right on top of that tape. And that's all I have to say about that. But I do feel that it is necessary to have that there to protect our investment and just for the safety, accident wise, liability wise, and all that.
Awesome. Thank you, Marilyn. Anybody else want to touch on that? Amanda, I think you're left on that. Levesky, maybe?
No, I mean, I agree. The mom side of me, I don't love it. Like, I don't know who's watching this video. If it was a live feed, I would really be uncomfortable with that. But as from the business perspective, I understand. I think it would be maybe more reassuring to the mom side of me if I could have access to it. But I think that is something that we definitely need to continue the conversation on. I think it's definitely a hot topic, and we need to maybe pool the neighborhood. What's everyone think about it? Do we all want to have access to it? I don't think it should be so hard to get to view a video or a recording if you're going through the proper channels and asking for that. But that's my take on it.
I want to piggyback on this right quick, Kev. That brings into also the question of cameras at the entrances. I think security overall needs about 30 minutes to an hour to have discussion across the neighborhood. Just not at the pool, because we are living in a time where we're being recorded everything we do. But Amanda makes a great point. Who's watching her kids when they're swimming? And so my suggestion is maybe we bring a professional in to talk at an HOA meeting, to give some percentages and analytics where, safety and versus, I don't know. I just think this conversation needs to be held longer. So that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I think after moving into a board and get it all together, however that looks, these are definitely conversations that need to be had, right, moving forward. So I'm going to, Levesky, if it's okay, I'm going to move on just for time. Are we good there? Okay. Let's see. We do have a couple other questions from the Sealer Me house. Sorry, I said that wrong. I apologize. I'm terrible with that. And I said at the beginning, I didn't want to murder anybody's name. So just got a couple of questions here. How acquainted are you with the HB 62, and do you support it? And I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. If you can elaborate a little bit on that. I'm guessing it has something to do with styles of homes or building something, because there's another follow-up question that says,
it's a House bill, Georgia House Bill 62, and I'll put a bunch of information in there that does not need to be read.
Well, Christy, I saw it, and I'm sure as heck not going to read all
I'm
that.
the one that put it in there. Thank you so much for providing that. I can give you just a really brief overview of what the House bill is. It's just to basically provide legally everything we've talked about here. So transparency, legal and adequate elections. In the preamble, I printed it out. It's a really great piece of legislation. So to provide for size requirements for boards, provide for board elections, filings, certifications, to provide for contests of election results, those types of things. And that would all be under the Department or the Secretary of State. And so when, we're having issues, a lot of people might have asked in the past, like, what do we do if this happens again? Right? So you would call the Secretary of State and you would say, hey, this is happening in our neighborhood. And then residents wouldn't have to take the shoulder of like all the work that it takes to, you know, vet out any fraud or wrongdoing, etc. So that is Senate Bill 62. Craftsman style homes are, I'm an architectural historian. I have a master's from Georgia State University. Craftsman style homes are what our houses were designed after.
Right.
It was important in the turn of the century, 1920s. And I'm personally obsessed with that style of historic architecture. So I've been calling this like craftsman style revival for fun. And I would love to, I guess, know more about like everybody's understanding of that.
Okay.
I hope that
Cool.
makes sense. I rambled a bit.
No, you're good. I appreciate you getting on and clarifying that, because I had no clue, and I didn't want to look like an idiot. Thank you for making me look like an idiot. I'm just kidding.
You're not an idiot. You are now a lover of historic architecture.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just messing with it. So yeah, any of the candidates, you know, like, do you know what craftsman style architecture and how it relates to that in, you know, of our features of our neighborhood? If anybody wants to touch on that, feel free. And then there's Christy's lengthy thing that she posted for that. Thank you for that, Christy. Anybody want to take that on craftsman homes?
I'll just say I don't know enough about it to give an educated response. If we're simply talking the design of homes and the appearance of homes, I have my opinions, but again, I don't know enough about it to really give an educated response. I'm sorry.
It's a great question to get more people involved. It's another opportunity. I mean, obviously I'm not an expert either. I like my house because it's a nice house. I didn't know I didn't even know I lived in that type of house. So I'm willing to learn. HB 62 sounds like a vaccine though, just to be honest.
It does.
Anybody else want to field that? Michael Levesky?
Well,
That's
so I can't. We do have a certain style, right? And I live in one of those original homes here, one of the older homes, right? So you can tell there's a style of the community. Comment and something I've always asked for and pushed for is ARC rules, regulations, what's out there, what's published, what's required. I'm looking at them. There's not clearly defined rules and regulations. There are some, but it's not clearly defined and publicly available for people to design their houses and keep them up to standard. And so I can't comment exactly to your particular comment on the 62, but I did know that was out there. But just kind of commenting on my how I think I would take the question was, we need to make sure that we have clear rules. We have clear ARC documents published out there. There are ARC documents in the background, but they haven't been published, and so you can't technically enforce them if everybody doesn't know about them to a certain level. So making sure those are public, making sure we're sticking to those guidelines, making sure we're reviewing those correctly, and just going forward with the ARC committee. I know the ARC, Erica's on here. She's been working to make sure that that's public and that we publish that. I know there is some documents in the background. But again, if the homeowner does something and they request something and they make a change, you know, by law are supposed to be published, right? And everything, we shouldn't have any question on what should and shouldn't be done. So, definitely need design guidelines in what laws are out there, because currently our laws, it goes into some detail, but not what people would think would be proper for most HOAs.
All right, awesome. So Marilyn, I do see your hand here. So if you want to go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just have to say bye. I have to leave off now at 8 because I'm expecting another phone call.
Yeah,
I didn't think we were going to be this long, so I apologize for that.
So I was going to say we're hitting the 8 o'clock hour. I know there was still some questions, and Patrick, I do see you lighting up. If you want to have a word, you absolutely can here in just a second. Marilyn, if you need to go right ahead.
Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for having me. And
So
thank
if
you
any
all for
questions
joining us.
if there were any questions that I didn't get to, I know there's a lot of comments in here and everybody's going to read those. One thing I do want to say is, Dennis, I've seen a lot of the traffic about AI and the webpage, and I know, and I'll speak for the entire group here, that we do appreciate the work that you and Cal and your team is putting in. So thank you very much for that. So Patrick, you're lighting up. Go ahead.
I just want to talk about the house bill that's out there with the Craftsman style and all that. There is, like Michael Lebeski said, there is a 10-page thing out there that's outside of our bylaws and covenants that has the design standards in it. That yes, there is some modifications to that has been done, that is being updated and worked on, because that is one that was pointed out that you can find it in the meeting minutes to where it was approved to change this, that, and the other. But yes, you got to go dig for it and all that. We are working on updating those and getting those updated and posted and put out there. But what I will say in relation to that, that is one of the promising things with Erica being the head of the ARC committee. She knows every one of these, everything that has been changed, all the updates. She's done everything with the city. She knows all the city, state, local, and federal laws according to all of that. So, and that's stuff that we have to adhere to as well, just like Amanda talked about with Mr. Henry Shedd. They had to adhere to the city ordinances, which trumps our bylaws on anything. So with that, like I say, I mean, it is out there. It is being worked on and getting update and getting the correct information on it. But like I say, that is one to where y'all were talking a while ago about Erica had asked her question about, absolutely, by all means, Erica and her committee should stay in the position that they're in, because I would put anybody in this neighborhood up against Erica to that they don't even. Erica's probably forgot more about the ARC than anybody in this neighborhood, myself included, would know. I mean, she's made her job to know this. So, but like I say, and that goes with her and in line with her. But I just wanted to put that out there and let everybody know that yes, we are working on getting those updated.
All right. Well, awesome, Patrick. Thank you for that. So one thing here, I'm going to close this down. All right. So it's 8:04. We went over a bit, but there was a lot of good questions and a lot of good back and forth. So any questions that didn't get asked, I suggest that you reach out to a candidate directly, or there's going to probably be more events, I'm guessing, coming down the pipeline here. I mean, obviously things are happening on Saturday. You know, some stuff should be answered on that point. So any questions that I didn't touch on, I apologize. Just time didn't allow it. But all good questions. Please reach out to the candidates directly. If you need, if you don't have their info, which you should, being on here, get with somebody, because their info is out there. So I'd like to thank everyone, and I think Michael Arrington is pointing, so that he doesn't use the hand raise button, but that's fine. Go ahead, sir.
I was just going to say, Dennis, call me. We'll get a Facebook Live event next week to go over the. We can do it like this. We'll figure this out, but we'll have another event just to talk about the webpage and how that goes. If everybody wants to join, just I want to thank everybody. Kevin, great job tonight. And yeah, hopefully next time we can have 50 people in here. We just got to get out and tell people, but we will have another live event just to go over the webpage. And I invite everybody who's been on here to be there with us. Nobody's excluded in that as well. So thank you, guys.
No, I appreciate y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, I had 'em.
Great job, guys.
Forgot about
Thank
them.
you.
I bought them when I went to whatever my last business trip was.
They're good, aren't they?
I like them a lot.
I wish I knew how to work them better.
Well, I'm gonna tell Colin to buy me some AirPods for my phone, my work phone, so when I do meetings, because that was a game changer. Oh no, what happened?
What? Beeping. Is that Evelyn doing that?